turn into Baba TV. You don't even know what's about to happen. This is about to go down. The whole cities, the whole states, the whole countries. And this is the land of the Uncle Hoovers. Get ready. We got stuff coming. Baba TV out.
With a black or white, short, tall or long, could enough like the star or sun. Like children, remember we all are one. Together we all are strong, one for all for one. Bobby wrong, no care for little call or pan. Them want mess up all over land. Like children out, them want put scarp on no swap organs for car or van. I bear weeping and wailing. The evil must get defeat. Them God will beneath. Because shines keep prevailing. Time for trample the peace. Life earth belong to the me.
And I'm always very humbled to be in the presence of the indigenous people of this land. And my dear sister here once again has allowed me into her home to discuss some very important issues that I believe supersede, I know that supersede the foolishness that's going on in politics and the local politics that's going on. We seem to have forgotten that the rightful owners of this land that happen to be in those treaties that are still on the books, that people in power don't even seem to realize, some of them, that we are occupants. We are not the landlords of this land. And, you know, because of white supremacy and time and fighting, trying to obliterate the true history of the ancient indigenous people of this land. And I don't want to speak too much on that. I'm not qualified. So I would like to just turn the floor over to my dear sister. Sego.
Sego. Yunga Skahalunquas. My name is Gahalunquas. And I am an ancient Bear clan mother. I am a matriarch. I am the head of my family, part of the Iroquois Confederacy. Also a United Tribal Nations representative in the United Nations. I hold a lot of responsibility, and I always love when you come by, and we can also, you know, get the tea, find out what's going on. So I always love when you visit. I respect and I appreciate the work that you do. Giving us a much more amplified voice, right? It's not like I don't have one. However, you know, it's nice to, you know, have some help. So welcome. There's a lot going on. So I don't know if you have anything specific you want to talk about, but I know you mentioned the sovereignty.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Okay. There's a lot of basis, right? There's a lot of basis of who we are, what we stand for, and that sovereignty, you know, that we hold. And with that sovereignty in all reality is a Wasuchu word. Wasuchu being a non-native, okay? That what that means is that they have taken our words and they have twisted them to their liking and to their definition. Our people were not in that manner English-wise, right? We didn't have all of their knowledge, so that interpretation was different for us. That interpretation of what a word was their interpretation. So we took that, right? Because we called them brother. So unfortunately, along the way, they have taken that word and they can use that against us, right? These are some of the things that I have found out when it comes to that sovereignty, that we all, jump behind to use so that we're not included in what they're doing in their ways. And once we find out the true meanings, where they came from, how it started, it changes. It changes everything about that word. It changes everything about the word sovereignty. It changes everything about how we move. Why? What they have done is they have found a way to take their words and twist them, again, to their advantage, to their interpretation, which is called spelling. So we unwillingly go along with this as brothers, right? Those are our brothers. We're siblings. We see each other as equal. We see them as equal. They don't see us as equal. They feel as though they have a more of a say over the land, where they're able to, fully take advantage of, the resources, and everything this land has to offer. So as long as we, the original people, the Onkwe decide to stay asleep and to kind of, indulge in their ways, which is the shiny things, which is the, all of the amenities and what makes us comfortable, right, in these modern days. We were not taught that there is that consequence to that, of all of these great things. There's a consequence. We all thought we could just kind of overlook it. Well, we're there. We're at that door now, and we can't keep overlooking it. And we can't keep, running every time an issue comes up that is tied to our sovereignty, that is tied to being stewards of the land, and I appreciate, you putting us as owners. However, we do not own. We steward the land. It is our responsibility to look after, to adhere, and to ensure this land is cared for in a way that is positive for everybody that inhabits it, right? That's first and foremost. Now, if you need to bring it back to the intention of the colonizer, they want to own it, right? They want to say, it's ours, we can do this, we can take this, you have no say over it. So that is what they played on. They played on that, is that we do not own the land. We are the stewards of the land. However, now, if you really want to put it into your way, your paperwork, your red tape, well then, we do have the deed to the land. We do have title to the land. If you want to put it in paperwork, then that's what we'll have to do. And we can do that. We can put deed to the land. We can put title to the land. We're not supposed to own the land. No one's supposed to own mother. This is our mother. She provides for us. We're all supposed to live here freely, unmolested, unbothered, being able to profit in a way where it's abundant for us. And it doesn't necessarily mean in money, right? That's not being rich, right? That's not what being rich is all about. It's not being rich monetary. It's being rich in your family and your values and in the way that you're actually coming together as a family and a community. That's what makes you rich. And unfortunately, that's not something that we're really going through right now, because everybody has been so single-mindedly, looked at to say, hey, you can gain this and you can get this. So we start thinking for ourselves. Just me, and we become selfish, right? And we don't worry about the person next door, or the elder up the street, or the kids that didn't eat down the road, because we're too busy consumed in our own, right? We're part of an experiment. We've been part of an experiment since they got lost at sea. We've helped find their way, took care of them, brought them in, showed them, hey, this is how you do it. They watched us, they studied us, and then they took what they learned and they, what is that called? Plagiarized it? Mm-hmm. And then they tried to make it their own. And they have failed miserably, as we can see. This is them failing at what they've done. Why? They refuse to allow us to sit at the tables with them. So this is where we have to go back to the beginning. That's the only choice that we have. We have tried to ask to sit at the tables as brothers. We've asked to sit at the tables. We asked them, respect the treaties, respect these agreements that were made, right? Respect that. That's all we ask. Respect that. Let us live in Skana, and let us all just unite, and we can all get along. And that's too much to ask for. So now we have to go to that extreme, right? Now we have to go back to and say, okay, I guess then we're going to have to. We're going to have to pull the rug from underneath you. And we're going to have to show you that paperwork. We're going to have to show you the muscle that we really have. And if this is what it means to do it, is to stand up against these corporations, whether it's the police, whether it's the courts, whether it's the sheriffs, whether it's the troopers, then that's what we have to do. Because right now we're in a time where all of the talk that we're doing is not doing a thing. They just keep pushing us aside. They just keep, get out of the way. You know, we're after this. We want the land. We want the minerals. You know, we want to keep destroying the water. We want to make it so that you can't farm on your lands and you can only farm on the lands that we have. And we don't want to provide you with clean water. We just want you to keep getting sick. And we want to keep spraying you. And we want to keep just making it so that your people are dying more and more and more and more. This is what they're doing. And nobody is doing nothing. Everybody is so preoccupied with trying to just stay afloat and make it through that doctor's appointment because there's chemo, there's cancer treatment, there's all of these things going on. All of these sicknesses that are happening. We're all so distracted. And that's what they want. They want us to be distracted because then we can't unite. Because then we have such a chump that's sitting in such a position right now that he really just wants to tear us apart. How are we going to see through all of that to actually be able to say, okay, I know we can actually come together and I know that there's a remedy? That's really hard. Because everything that I just mentioned, that's a lot of shit. And everything that I just mentioned is not only what I am living personally, but what my people go through. And I'm sure many other people out there and other, nationalities, cultures, we're all going through this. And we all think that it's just happening to me. It's not. It's not. We have to unite because if we don't, they win. They got checkmate. They can't win. We're not going to let them. We have the cards. We're the ones that have to say. We have the Guyana Lagoa, which is the great binding law of peace. That is the supreme law of this land. And I've been saying it. And people thought I was a little woohoo. They really did. And, it was funny because, I was just looked at like, I just kept saying it. Now you hear it everywhere. And I love it. Now it's being talked about more. It's really coming out like supreme law of the land. Yes. I've been saying this. It is. It really is. Our people are moved in fear. And they're afraid to move back. So what we have to do and what I've been able to actually do over a period of time is come up and work with people for a remedy, for change. And what we have come out to find out is that the United States government, as they call it, can actually be demolished. It can actually be broken right down very easily. You just have to find that pathway back. And again, that's what I've been working on. And what I found out is that when the colonists came over here, the colonizers came here, back when they wanted to explore here, they made a promise. There was an agreement that was made that when they came here, they would do it, in this manner, and it would be in this way. Well, there's a name for it. It's actually patent, letters patent of 1793. That is the basis of how these corporations are formed. So when you have to reverse and go back and find it, it's not based on the Constitution. It's actually based on these letters patent of 1793. So when you go back and you read through this paperwork or this letters patent, when I was reading through it, what I found, and I found it very interesting, is that they base it on the fact that they are asking for permission to come here on this land and do exploring. Now, they were given permission with this letters patent that says as long as they can, it's something that hasn't been done, and as long as it's on matter. Well, if you look up matter, matter is anything, right? So how do they put a patent on just anything here? I love you. You're so sweet, baby. So what I was able to find out, go in there, please, so I can hear, okay? Thank you. What I was able to actually find out through all of this is when they did this patent said you can go over and you can explore, but you can do it under these conditions. So they included the matter, and that matter includes anything. What does it include? It includes the land, the air, the water, and the spirit, right? What is that? It's laws. That's how they made their laws here. Land, L, air, A, water, W, spirit, S, laws. So they base this patent on that. That's the foundation. So that's, when you go into these courts, you have to have a foundation. So that's the foundation that you get to go at, is that one right there. And it was a long ways trying to figure this all out. That's one hell of a road. I didn't know that my clan was declared dead. I didn't know that my sister clan decided to take over our family's position within the 49 families of the Iroquois Confederacy. I didn't know, that, we're a product of admiralty product. Yeah, I didn't know all of these things. I do now, though. And I've seen this, and I've heard that when you actually take an Unkwehonwe and you arm them with knowledge, you better look the fuck out. Because they're coming back. And that's what we're doing. We're coming back. We're coming back stronger. We're coming back more united. And we're coming back with a damn good remedy. And that includes all the matriarchs. And that's more than just me. I'm not the only matriarch. Yes, you can take that. That's more than just me. There's a whole matriarch framework that's being taken care of right now.